Good evening, everyone. It is currently 7:35 p.m. on October 25th of 2012. And this video is pretty much... Okay, so I just got back from Atlanta. And the point of this video is not really going to be to talk about what happened in Atlanta, because I did record some stuff. Although, not very much. Maybe 2 videos worth, or 1 even. I don't know. But, I can't even think. I want to talk about why it took me so long to get back. See, I basically just wanted to tell my airport nightmare story. Let's call it that. Maybe that can even be the title. My airport nightmare story. The thing is, everybody has one. And, you know, there's this video of some guy talking. I think the video is called Everything's Amazing and Nobody's Happy. And he makes such a good point in that video, because it's such a miracle that we have the technology to do this now. You know, to fly across the country in a matter of hours, and yet we don't, you know, we take it for granted so much now, to the point that even if something like the internet goes out on the plane, you know, people will complain about it and say, oh, that figures and blah, blah, blah. My issue was a little bit different than the internet. Mine had more to do with the actual taking off itself. Let me see if I can recap this story. So let's see. So my flight out was like 2:50 or something on Wednesday, yesterday. So we drove up to the airport, and they dropped me off. It was like 2 o'clock at the time. And I was a little worried because, like, you know, I knew the flight was at 2:50, but that meant that boarding was going to start at like 2:20. Or maybe even 2:10, because sometimes they do that. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, I don't know, it's 2 o'clock now. And how likely is it I'm going to get through security in 10, 20 minutes? I don't know. But I might as well try, because, I mean, most other airports, like, I've gone through security, and it usually doesn't take as long as it seems like it's going to. Well, this particular time, of all times, it took a long time. It ended up taking me like 45 minutes to get through it. And that's just making a long story short there. Yeah, so I finally get through security, I get to the gate, and needless to say, I missed the flight, so poop on that. But I wasn't too worried about it, because I was like hungry as hell and thirsty, and I really wanted to stop and get something to eat. And at least now I had a chance to do that, and I was kind of trying to see the bright side of things. So, anyway, so I went off and I booked another ticket for a 7:06 flight at 7:06 that night. So I had plenty of time to get on my laptop and tell the whole story to my diarrhea, which is actually what it's called on there. And, let's see. Something in my teeth, man. It's nasty. Okay, I remember what happened now. At 7:06, well, we probably boarded a little bit later than that. But anyway, we got on the plane, and we were getting ready to go, and everything was good. So we all get on the plane, our bags are put away, our bags are put in the thing on the carousel, or whatever you call it. So we were all on the plane, we're sitting there, and they come on the intercom and tell us they need to do some repairs to the plane, just some small maintenance or something. And I thought, well, that's good, safety first, you know, and that's always important. So we're sitting on the plane, and they're doing the maintenance or whatever, and 5 minutes later they get on and tell us we're going to have to get back off of the plane. So I'm like, oh boy, you know, I've already waited 4 hours just to get on this flight, and now we're having to get off the plane for them to do repairs or whatever. So I'm like, oh boy. So anyway, so we went back inside, I pulled out my laptop, started updating the story, you know, putting the story, and we sit there for what must have been like, I guess, an hour and a half or something. And they pushed the flight up to like 9 o'clock. And the worst thing about it is what they do is they'll push it up like little bits at a time. They'll say like, okay, it's going to be another 20 minutes. And then you get like 15 minutes into that 20 minutes, and you're 5 minutes away thinking, okay, maybe things are going to go good. And then they add another 20 minutes to it, rather than just telling you from the beginning, hey, this is going to be like 2 hours, so, you know, go do something or something. I don't know why they don't have like movie theaters and hotels just attached to every airport there is, if this happens as often as it does, because this just happened when I went to Columbus earlier this year, which was in August. So that's 2 out of the last 3 times I've taken a trip now that this happened. We had to get off the plane because of something or whatever. So I don't know, I mean, 2 out of 3, that's not a very good track record for anything. Anyway, he comes back on at some point, and he's like, hey, good news, guys. The maintenance guys are finishing up, and it looks like we're going to get aboard the plane pretty soon here. So everyone's like breathing a collective sigh of relief here. And so not even 2 minutes later, he says, okay, let's board. So we get back on the plane, we take off, we're in the air. And now I suppose you're thinking to yourself, okay, we were in the air, how could I have not made it home that night? Well, if only. We get in the air. We literally get in the air, and they tell us then that whatever the repairs were that were supposed to be done didn't get done properly or something. They were missing a part or something. I don't even know. But needless to say, what they had to do, they had to turn around and land back in Atlanta, and we had to get off the plane a second time. So, you know, with all the time it takes taxiing around the world, doxing, don't even be started on taxiing. Is that what you call it? Is it just taxing, or is it taxiing? Because they call it taxi, but you can't make that a verb like taxiing. You can't have two I's. I mean, that's stupid. But you can't call it taxing, because that's tax, not taxi. I don't know, there's no other verb in the English language that ends in I that I know of where that would apply. I mean, skiing, okay, yeah, shit. Damn it, I hate when I'm wrong. Okay, anyway. Skiing, taxing, doxing. We'll get around to that in a minute. Maybe some other time. So yeah, you know, when you consider that when you're doxing for 20 minutes before you take off, then you're doxing for 20 more minutes after you land, that's 40 minutes that we're not even in the air. Not to mention all the time we were in the air, which is probably a whole nother hour. Well, that was actually probably not that long. I don't know, I was half asleep for most of the time we were in the air, so that didn't help anything for my perception of time. Anyway, we get back on the ground, but by the time we get back on the ground, they tell us that they have another plane ready for us, and it's parked just a few gates away from where we're about to park. So we get off of the plane, we walk a few gates down, they got the new plane there ready to go, and everything's good. I'm like, okay, alright, this is good, alright. So, we get in line. I mean, they tell us they have to do a security sweep of the new plane. And it's like, okay, whatever. So it's like 10 or 15 minutes before we get aboard. And I'm like, good. Because I'm hungry as hell. I'm thirsty as hell. These bags feel like they weigh 100 pounds. And, you know, walking around the airport wouldn't be so bad if you didn't have to drag your bags around with you. It's like, I wish they would put up, like, lockers or something where you could just throw your shit in there, put a PIN number in, you know, and then come back and get it later. It'd be so nice if you could do that. Just having to lug those things around is, it's good exercise, though. What can I say? Save myself a trip to the gym. Not that I could have gone anywhere. Anyway, so the new plane's ready. They do the security sweep. We get in line, and people start going into the plane. All of a sudden, the line stops, and it sits there for like 3 minutes. And we're like, okay, what's going on? Maybe it's just a little glitch in the system. We've been through enough. We're gonna get through this. It's just fine. Everything's just fine. About 5 minutes. Well, I just said it was like 3 minutes. And after that 3 minutes, I looked down the walkway that goes down to the plane. I saw people coming back up the walkway with baggage. The same people that had just gotten on the plane were coming back off, and I'm like, why could they possibly be doing that? I mean, they're not rearranging the order of the people that are going on the plane, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, come to find out, and, you know, I don't blame anyone. You know, I'm not trying to get on here and, like, bash any certain airlines or anything like that. I'm just telling my story because I think it's fun to tell nightmare stories, and maybe some of you have some of your own and you want to make video responses, go right ahead. Hiccup. Holy cow, I got a little bit overzealous there. Yeah, so those guys are coming up. And then the lady, I mean, I felt so bad for her having to do this, but she got on, she said, and I don't remember the exact words, but she said something like, this is the news that you never want to hear, but basically the flight's been canceled on account of the crew members timing out. Whatever that means. I assume it means their work shift ended. So number one, wouldn't they already know that? And because some other guy said that, he's like, wouldn't they already know that? This guy was like really pissed off. He was over here just ranting. And like, oh my gosh. He was like, they already know that? And the thing that I was thinking though was, well, you know, if one person's shift is ending, isn't another person coming in to relieve them? Or maybe they were on some other plane, because this was an unplanned flight. So you can't exactly get someone who was coming in to do planned flights to do an unplanned one or something, I don't know. Anyway, so they tell us we can scan our tickets at so-and-so, and they'll put us up for a night at a hotel. And I'm just like, really? Because at this point, I mean, I don't even know. At this point, I was almost thinking, okay, why don't I just go all the way out of the airport, walk back in like I was just some random Joe, go up to the counter and say, how much would it be for a ticket to Chicago? Can I just get a ticket right now for Chicago? Next flight you got. Any available seat. I'll pay $500. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I was just ready to do that. I was literally ready to do that. I did not want to just do this anymore. And the other thing I was thinking was, hotel, well, how am I going to get there? It's like, I don't even know where the things are. You know, they told us, and eventually we found our way around, but I only found my way because I was following other people that I recognized from the Appleton Tennessees, as I call them in my diarrhea. Yeah, so they go ahead and so I go ahead and scan my ticket, and some people scan their tickets and they don't have hotel reservations set up for them yet because apparently they hadn't gotten it into the system yet. And I can't even imagine how long that would take. I mean, you're talking about 50 people, putting them all up in a hotel room, $300 per hotel room, you know, per night, $200 per night. I mean, that's $10,000 to put up 50 people for a night. So, you know, I appreciate that they did that. And anyway, so yeah, they set me up at Ramada Limited Suites, which was surprisingly, by the time I got out to the shuttle and got over there, it was a really nice room, 2 beds, a bathroom, like a whole another room with a couch in it and a table and chairs. It was really nice. I mean, I'll tell you what. Sweet. Well, it was a sweet suite. What can I say? But the funny thing happened. We were sitting out there waiting for the shuttles. A couple of the hotels actually ran out of rooms, and they weren't able to honor the vouchers. Because the guys who were driving the shuttle were like, okay, people with the vouchers, back up. Did you actually make a reservation? Okay, you get on. You with the vouchers, back up. And he had to do that. I just hated that he had to do that. I did not want his job either. But anyway, so some of the other hotels jumped in and said, we'll honor your vouchers, and they put the people on those shuttles or whatever. But just holy cow. When something like that happens on the spur of the moment, it's like, what do you do, you know? Even as a company, what do you do? You know, and I'm not making this sound very angry, because I guess I'm really not that angry. I mean, you know, what the hell are they supposed to do if, you know, the stuff's not available? Well, one of the other Appleton guys was actually saying that the reason we turned around, you know, because another thing that I was thinking was when we got in the air that time and then they turned around and went back to Atlanta, it's like, you know, how much safer was that than just flying straight onto Appleton? It's like, you're already in the air, you might as well just fly to Appleton. It seems like that would have been just as safe as turning around and trying to land back in Atlanta or whatever, I don't know. But one of the Appleton guys said later on that he had heard from one of the food vendors at the airport that the reason they turned around, the reason they turned the plane around, was because the part that they needed for it wasn't at the Appleton airport. So they wouldn't have been able to fix it when they got it there. So that's one reason why small airports kind of suck, I guess, because they only have so many planes, you know, going to so many places. Anyway, I stayed at the hotel, I ride the shuttle back the next day, I get my ticket, no problem whatsoever. They didn't board until about a half hour after they said they were going to, which kind of stunk. I thought, no, here we go again. Because one of the guys last night said that he had been there since the day before that. So now he was having to stay for 2 days. I'm like, what do these people do if they actually have to get to work? You know, it's like, I guess they have to call their job and say, you know, what if I had to call Pick and Save and say, oh, you know, my plane's not going to get back in time? I mean, I'm sure they would have understood, but I sure wouldn't have wanted to have to do that. Especially because I didn't have a cell phone, or else I would have just called Chugga, hell. But I need to just get a cell phone again. I'm still paying $80 a month on the AT&T. You know, it's like you think after 6 months or whatever of inactivity, they would have said something like, okay, you're not using your phone, what's up here? You want to deactivate it or something? But I guess they're all too happy to just keep taking the money. You know, it's just like Columbia House, the DVD club, they do the same thing. Keep sending stuff to you. And unless you respond to the email, and whatever. So I got on the plane and we flew home today. And thank God I finally got home tonight. Of course, I finally get back to the Appleton airport. It's pouring down rain, just pouring down rain. So I sit out in my car for like literally the entire length of the Rush album, Clockwork Angels, which is about an hour. Just waiting for the rain to stop because my windshield wipers are all effed up. And I just don't trust them to get me home. They've been effed up for like 3 years now. It's just, you know, sometimes they work fine, but sometimes like the left one goes all the way over here and it gets caught. Like it goes past the edge of the window, and next thing I know, it's like sticking off, you know, touching the driver's side window of my car door. You know, and it's caught in between the rear view mirror and my car door over here, like, you know, and it can't pull itself back. So then I try to throw it back and it's just stuck there at the top, and it thinks it's at the bottom at that point. I don't even know, just screw it. It's gonna be doing the monkey arms. Here, this is the monkey arms. Just can't get enough of it. It's even better from behind. Looks more like a monkey. You can see I took those pictures off too. You might have noticed when I was pointing that out before. You know, let's see. I left the bucking fakery up there. I guess I should leave that. I don't want to take any of the fan stuff down that fans made. Once I get this place painted up, maybe I can get some shelves or something, so I can have places for all my Yoshis. I got another pink Yoshi actually over here. Chugga gave it to me. It's over there. I'm not going to show it. But should I show it? I can't mention it and not show it. Seriously, Tim? Whoa. Okay, that was my bear. You might have heard that little rattling sound. Yoshi's so happy. So this one's a little pinker than the other one. They're like different shades. So, and all that's missing is a little heart on the screen, you know? A little kiss animation. Ooh. So that's my story. So yeah. So I did drive home, and miraculously, when the rain stopped, it didn't start again. Well, actually it did, but by that point I was already back in Neenah. So I just pulled into Jimmy John's, went inside, sat there with my 3DS, and ate a turkey slim, actually is what they call it. It's the first time I'd ever been there, so we had ordered from there before, but I'd never actually gone there myself, so it was kind of nice. So I sat there with my slim turkey and Coca-Cola Classic. It's like those people who go to McDonald's and get like Diet Coke and then whatever. I was like the opposite of that. I went to a Subway place and got a regular Coke. So I'll be ready to get back to that gym again and get us a new weight here. See what my new weight is. See if we can get down to 185. 185 has always been the number that's been in my head. It's like, that's how much I weighed back in the Beverly days, as I call them. And that's always the weight that I wanted to get back to, because that's when because I did work out some back then. Because I had a crush on somebody and I had a reason to, you know. These days I just do it for you guys, which is not as good, admittedly. Nothing's as good as having a crush on somebody, sorry to say. Nothing in this world is, but still, you do what you can, so, you know, I did it. And, it was nice, and I got down to 185 from wherever I was. So, and I was happy with that, actually, so. I mean, to be, like, 15 years older than that now, and still be the same weight, I mean, that feels kind of good. Because I know a lot of people lose it as they get older. And I'm trying to reverse that now, you know, now that I'm pushing 40 here. So, we'll see how it goes. Then again, I know my dad was really skinny up until, like, a certain point. And, like, suddenly, like after the divorce, I can't remember exactly, but I just remember him coming over to the house one day, like in 1996, and me being, like, kind of surprised at how big he had gotten, because I hadn't seen him in, like, a year or something. So he would have been 45 then. So I gotta watch myself, I guess, when you start getting to those later years. It starts getting harder to maintain a good weight, I guess. I'll tell you what, though, as big as he is, he's a strong person, I'll tell you. To have been through what he's been through. Cancer and all that. I didn't notice this Japanese writing on the back. I'll have to, I'm trying to think. Well, I do have some footage from Atlanta, like I said. Did I say that? I don't even remember. It's not much. I don't know if it'll even be enough for 2 videos. It might just be 1. So I just didn't feel the urge to record that much. I just was just having fun, is basically what I was doing. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on the computer now, because I probably already got 100 questions on Twitter by now. So I will see you on the flip side.